It was really interesting listening to Lucas Paqueta speak in it. Who am I kidding? Let's be fair. I don't speak Portuguese. It was really interesting reading the Lucas Paqueta subtitles in his recent interview. He was talking about his excitement in the upcoming game against Alkmaar this evening. And he is really excited. And I couldn't help but listen to it, read it, whatever, you get what I'm saying, without thinking this is why he joined the club. This would have been it. I often speak about players when they come into West Ham. What were they promised? We speak about Areola. What was Areola promised, when he signed for West Ham? Fulham, he'd done a loan with us. Fulham wanted him. We wanted him. What was it? Maybe it was just plain old money. But what was it that we said to him that made him sign for us? What did we promise Gianluca Scamacca? Would we build a team around him? Would he play in two up front? What would we do? But I'd imagine one of the things that we certainly was a lure to sign players, maybe like Scamacca, Areola, and of course like Paqueta, was European football. We were able to point to a semi-final last year and say, look, we nearly got there last year, and we're building on that. And we're not selling any of our best players at the time. Obviously, Declan Rice, we're keeping Bowen. We're going to build on it. I bet things were said to Paqueta like you're going to be the cherry on the cake. This is it. You're going to be the final piece of the jigsaw that allows us to go from semi-finalists to finalists and winners. And he probably would have been sold on that. He probably would have thought, yeah, this is what I want. Because those guys, particularly those guys that have come from Brazil, come to Europe, he's a regular starter for the Brazilian national team. They don't anticipate not winning trophies in their career. When Paqueta signed, he went straight over to AC Milan when he went from South America. It didn't work out AC Milan. Then he went to Olympique Lyonnais. But make no mistake about it, when you join a European giant like AC Milan, you're expecting to win trophies. Of course, he got to the latter stages with Olympique Lyonnais last season. We know that because obviously we knocked him out. But very much would have been factored in. Come and sign for West Ham. This is all part of it. And that's why he's looking forward to it so much. This is what he signed up for. He didn't sign up for the relegation scrap. Well, the relegation scrap is what he got. Whatever, 99.9%, we've seen that off now. But this is the bit. And it is crucially important. And I've already mentioned it before, and I'll go on to mention it again. A third consecutive season in Europe. So if we win this, then we're in Europe again next season. That's absolutely massive for attracting some really good players and continuing to attract really good players. And it's just a huge game for the club for every single reason. For the obvious reason that we've not won a trophy since 1980. And no, I don't, the Intertoto Cup. If you go back and you remember the format of it, then, to say we won it wasn't really a proper bona fide tournament, particularly in its structure and with its standing in the game. The Conference League is, don't get me wrong, it's the least of the European trophies, absolutely. It's the best of the rest, as I mentioned. But Jose Mourinho's Roma, winning it last season, did the competition a massive favour. But then them winning it, getting into the Europa League via the Conference League, and then getting to the semi-finals of that as well, was also, incredible. It gave the conference tournament a lot of credibility. So this is big for West Ham. This is absolutely huge. And I think we're sort of guilty in this country of looking down our noses a little bit of European tournaments. And I say that as somebody who's been absolutely guilty of it. I used to say, if you've been watching the channel a long time, I used to say, I don't particularly want to qualify for, the lesser tournaments in Europe, or be it the UEFA Cup or whatever it might have been then, because I didn't think we had the squad for it. I thought it would impact our season. I didn't think there was much glory in it. I didn't think there was much money in it. I mean, I was wrong by every metric. I was wrong. There is glory in it. It is good. We could manage it. Regardless of the fact we were knackered. However, we did manage it. We managed to get out the group stage on 2 occasions. It did manage to bring in, I think last year's run was something like 28 million, an extra 28 million for the club in Europe last season. So I was wrong. In every metric, I was wrong. It was very, very good for the club. And in terms of enticing players, brilliant. Well, overseas, they don't look down their noses at it in the way that we do. They like it. So this is really important for the growth and the future of the club. It's hugely important for David Moyes. And I don't think that needs to be over-egged. Don't get me wrong. And when I talk about this game, don't get me wrong, we want to win it. But actually, there is a reason this particular game is really important for David Moyes, because I still think that there's a story and there's a narrative there for David Moyes. So if David Moyes gets us through the semi-final, we got to the final, we were to lose the final, for instance, David Moyes could absolutely say, well, hold on a second, I took that club over. They were down near the bottom of the league. I took them out. I got them safe. Next season, we qualified for Europe. From that, we got to semi-finals. Next season, we were in Europe again. We got them to a final. Whilst we'd be out and there would be no third season in European football, David Moyes could say, oh, I'm improving things. Things are getting better. Next time we get into Europe, we'll go to win it. Obviously, it's not quite that black and white, not quite that simple, but I would understand it. So I think his reputation would be enhanced, I have to say, by getting to a final. It would. That being said, you look back at the end of the season and, look at the end of your career, and you want to see trophies. I mean, what Sam Allardyce was banging on about the other week, about, being up there with Pep and Klopp and all the rest of it. I don't even think he was deluded. I just think I think he thinks he's winding the press up, but he's not. Everyone just knows he's an nincompoop, basically. And he knows it's not true. He's been saying it for years. Oh, I'm as good as Arsene Wenger and all, Sam Allardyce and all. Honestly, he's one of those people. You know plenty of them. We all know him. The type of people that tell a lie and they say it so many times and end up believing it themselves. And I think he's one of them. He's told himself so many times he's just as good as Pep and Klopp and Arsene Wenger and Fergie. He actually bloody believes it. And the truth of the matter is, when it comes back and you look back at your records, you want to see trophies. And that's what David Moyes is going to want to do. So it's a really, really big game for David Moyes. Everyone, Declan Rice, as I've said, and I've said it 2 or 3 times, I'll repeat myself, the best chance Declan Rice has of winning a trophy in his career is this season. You know why? Because he's already in a semi-final and we're up. Basically, Declan Rice is a game and a half away from lifting a trophy. That's it. Now, whoever he goes and signs for, they've still got to go and do that. But he wants time for a Champions League club. It ain't easy winning the Champions League. You don't necessarily guarantee the trophy. Go and look at. I know they're in the semi-final and whatnot. And at the point of recording this, funny enough, by the time you've watched this, because I am recording this on Wednesday evening, by the time you watch this, you'll have known the result of the Real Madrid Man City one. But my point is, regardless of whether they got to the final or haven't, it ain't easy. You've been trying it for years and years and years. Also, have Man City. Gone manager after manager, Mancini, Pellegrini, Mark Hughes. They've been trying year after year just to try and get it. It ain't easy. Look at Arsenal this season. Declan Rice goes to Arsenal. Arsenal didn't win the league. So there is no guarantee of winning trophies regardless of what club you sign for. The truth of the matter is, if you sign for Chelsea, Man U or Arsenal or something like that, he's likely to at least pick up an FA Cup or two. They tend to sweep that up as well. But his best chances now, is massive for Declan Rice. It's massive for, I've already discussed the fans and why it's important for us, because it's the first time since 1980. It's really important for the club, and regardless of what the club want to do. In terms of if Sullivan wants to sell the club with European football next season is huge. To sell a club with a trophy, I don't know how much money is that worth. If we're in the Premier League and whatever, the value of the club's 650 million. Hey, if you're in Europe as well and you're a trophy winner, does that become 700 million? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. It's just such a big game, and it feels like it does feel like time. It does, as a West Ham fan. It's a funny one, because I was 6 in 1980, and I remember my old man going to the game. I had to stay at my nan's. My old man went to the game. I remember watching it on TV, but I remember thinking, quite early, when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, it didn't ever factor into my consciousness that I would never see West Ham win a trophy. And then you go through your life, you think, well, when are we going to win? When are you going to win? And you go up and down, you get relegations. Of course, there's going to be a load of West Ham fans, new West Ham fans, younger West Ham fans, well, fans like my son, who've never seen a relegation, right? So you sort of get used to a bit of that as a West Ham fan. You've got then you get some absolute heartbreak, like the Keith Hackett stuff, and some things, the Manny Omanyimi business as well. There's some real heartbreaking tales of woe which go towards being a West Ham fan. But you get to a certain point in your life as a West Ham fan, you've gone all this time, and there'll be people watching this and I say, I know exactly what you mean. You think, hold on a second, are West Ham going to win something before I pop me clogs? because that's how you start thinking. Come on, give us a trophy. And I don't like the old entitlement thing, and I don't think we're entitled as a fan base. I think we sort of laugh ourselves and mock ourselves. And I cringe. I cringed at it for years when I saw Liverpool fans doing it. Liverpool won everything when I was a kid, and then Fergie came along at Man United, and Liverpool didn't win the league title. What, for 20 years? Something like that. We know, I'm saying we deserve, and we're a big club, and there was an entitlement. And to a lesser extent, I sort of hear it a little bit with Newcastle at the moment, which is, we deserve this. We're a big club. We're different to other fans. You hear that quite a lot, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying we deserve or we're entitled, but it does feel like our time. It does feel like it would be a reward for years and years of what feels like a bit of punishment, really. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to tonight. I really am. Maybe, just maybe, and a little bit prematurely, I've allowed myself to look forward to a final. I've even allowed myself to dream a little bit about winning it. But you know what? Why not? Why not? I've read a lot, as I mentioned in the preview with Gio. I've read a lot of comments. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I've read loads and loads of comments about people saying really looking forward to it, excited to it. It'd be great if the club could win a cup. And but there was also the other comments saying, calm down. Don't get ahead of yourself. That's it. Don't get carried away. I think, I've had years of this stuff, and it's been a miserable old season. It's like I was saying when yesterday I did the video about about Musa, the young midfielder at Valencia. I said I've got to park all that stuff about David Moyes and who's doing the recruitment and all the rest of it, because it's just another thing. Don't get excited about signings. Don't. It's already been a miserable enough season, without not allowing yourself, to get excited about it. Because at the end of the day, it's a pursuit. It's your pastime. It's your love. You follow the team. And having followed West Ham for years and years and years, have been so much more dark times than there have times to be buoyant and times to enjoy yourself. So I think now that's it, and so you should. We're about to have a little bit of a dagger in the heart, aren't we, when Declan Rice leaves? I think it'll happen relatively early in the window, actually. I'm not sure it's going to drag on for months and months, and that's going to be difficult for us to lose somebody like that. So enjoy it while you can. I've just got it in my mind. I really do. I'll be lying if I said I haven't pictured Declan Rice lifting that trophy. I absolutely have. Anyway, looking forward to tonight. As the day goes on, I'm going to be getting more and more nervous. I absolutely am. Come on, Moyesy. Don't have us biting our fingernails. It'd be great to almost put that to bed early and enjoy the game. Anyway, I will catch up with you later on over on the main channel, hour and 5 minutes before kickoff.